Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. The neon lights of the bar flicker as I push open the heavy glass door, a familiar buzz of conversation and clinking glasses filling the air. I'm not usually one for midweek outings, especially not to a bar where the music is too loud and the drinks overpriced, but tonight feels different. There's a weight on my chest I can't shake off, a gnawing anxiety that I've tried to drown in work and routine. I order a drink, something strong, neat, and settle into a corner, pulling out my phone to scroll through meaningless updates, trying to distract myself. But the unease lingers. My eyes dart around the room, observing the mix of people, some laughing with friends, others like me, alone and lost in thought. Then I see her. She's sitting at the bar, her back straight, a glass of wine in hand. There's something about the way she holds herself, poised and confident, that catches my attention. Her hair is a dark cascade down her back, and when she turns slightly, I catch a glimpse of striking green eyes. She notices me looking and offers a small, inviting smile. I hesitate, but then I remember the message from earlier, I'll be at the bar on Main Street. Come if you can. I'd like to meet you. Curiosity gets the better of me, and I find myself walking over, the noise of the bar fading into the background as I approach. She looks up, and there's a flicker of recognition in her eyes, but it's quickly masked by a friendly smile. Hi, I say, sliding onto the stool next to her. You must be Emma. That's right, she replies, her voice smooth and melodic. And you're Jason. Guilty, I say with a grin, trying to ease the awkwardness. So, what brings you here tonight? I could ask you the same, she counters, her gaze steady. But I suppose it's just one of those nights, isn't it? Where you feel like you need a change of scenery. I nod, taking a sip of my drink. There's something disarming about her, something that makes me want to keep talking. You mentioned in your message that you work in marketing. Same field as me. What are the odds? Emma chuckles, a soft, almost musical sound. Yes, it seems we have more in common than just our professions. We talk for a while, the conversation flowing effortlessly. We share stories from work, laugh over common challenges, and exchange ideas. There's an undeniable connection, one that surprises me. By the time we finish our second drinks, it feels like I've known her for longer than just an hour. As we get up to leave, she reaches into her bag and pulls out a business card, scribbling her personal number on the back. In case you want to continue our conversation, she says with a wink. I take the card, slipping it into my pocket. I might just take you up on that. We part ways outside the bar, and I walk home with a strange mix of emotions, relief, intrigue, and a lingering sense of unease I can't quite place. As I unlock the door to my apartment, I wonder if I should have mentioned the encounter to my wife, Sarah. But it was just a harmless conversation, right? Sarah is in the living room when I walk in, her attention focused on a magazine. She looks up and gives me a quick smile. Hey, you're home earlier than I expected. Yeah, it was a quiet night, I say, dropping my keys on the table. Had a drink with a colleague. Oh. Her tone is casual, but there's a hint of something I can't quite read in her eyes. Yeah, we just talked shop. You know how it is. Of course, she says, turning her attention back to her magazine. I'm going to bed soon. Don't stay up too late. I nod, heading into the kitchen to pour myself a glass of water. As I lean against the counter, my phone buzzes in my pocket. It's a video call from Emma. For a moment, I hesitate, but then I swipe to answer, curious about why she'd be calling so soon. Her face appears on the screen, slightly blurred by the dim lighting on her end. Hey, I greet her, keeping my voice low. Didn't expect to hear from you so soon. I couldn't stop thinking about our conversation, she says, her voice a bit more serious than before. There's something I wanted to ask you. Before I can respond, I feel a presence behind me. Sarah is standing in the doorway, her eyes fixed on the screen. The air thickens with tension as she steps closer, her gaze narrowing as she looks at Emma. "Who's this?" Sarah asks, her voice tight, almost accusing. I fumble for words, caught off guard. "This is Emma. She's a colleague." Emma's eyes widen slightly, as if she recognizes something, or someone. There's a brief, uncomfortable silence, and then, with a quick, almost apologetic smile, she ends the call. I turn to Sarah, who's now looking at me with an expression I've never seen before. It's a mix of fear, guilt, and something darker. "Sarah, what's going on?" I ask, my heart pounding in my chest. She shakes her head, taking a step back. "Jason, it's not what you think. I can explain." "Explain what?" My voice rises with each word, the confusion and anger bubbling up inside me. "Who is she? And why did she look at you like that?" Sarah's face pales, her eyes darting around as if searching for an escape. "Jason, I swear, I didn't mean for you to find out this way." "Find out what?" I demand, my patience fraying. "What are you hiding?" There's a moment of silence, the tension thick in the air, and then Sarah takes a deep breath, her voice trembling. Emma was my lover." The words hit me like a punch to the gut, and for a moment, I can't breathe. The room spins as I try to process what she's just said. "Your lover." The word tastes bitter in my mouth. Sarah nods, her eyes filling with tears. "Yes, but it's complicated. She's not just, there's more to it." "What do you mean, more?" I ask, my voice barely a whisper. Sarah hesitates, and then, in a voice so quiet I almost don't hear it, she says, "Emma isn't who she seems. She's not just a woman. She's transgender." The revelation leaves me reeling. I stumble back, the walls closing in around me as my mind races to catch up. This can't be real. This has to be some sort of twisted joke. "Jason, I'm so sorry," Sarah pleads, reaching out to me, but I pull away, the shock and betrayal crashing over me like a wave. "How long?" I ask, my voice hollow. "How long has this been going on?" She wipes away a tear, her voice cracking. "A few months. I didn't want to hurt you. I was confused, and it just happened." I stare at her, the woman I thought I knew, and all I feel is a burning sense of betrayal. My mind races, already plotting my next move. This isn't just about the affair. It's about the lies, the deceit, the entire foundation of our marriage crumbling beneath my feet. I don't say another word. I just turn and walk out of the room, leaving her standing there, broken and sobbing. As I close the door behind me, a cold resolve settles in. I know what I have to do. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. The next morning, the sun's first light filters through the curtains, painting the room in a soft glow. But there's no warmth in it for me. The events of last night play on a loop in my mind, and the space between Sarah and me feels like a chasm. I can't bring myself to look at her, lying there with her back turned, pretending to sleep, or maybe she's just as lost in thought as I am. I need to get out of this house. Silently, I slip out of bed and pull on some clothes, my movements mechanical. I grab my phone and wallet, and without a word, I leave the apartment. The cool morning air bites at my skin, but it's a welcome sensation. It sharpens my thoughts, which are still muddled with anger, disbelief, and a growing sense of resolve. I don't know where I'm going at first, just that I need to move, to get away from everything. I walk through the quiet streets, the city still waking up, until I find myself at a coffee shop I used to frequent before life got too busy. It's mostly empty, just a couple of early risers hunched over their laptops. I order a black coffee and sit down by the window, staring out at the world that seems so unchanged, even though mine is in turmoil. My phone buzzes in my pocket, snapping me out of my thoughts. I pull it out, half expecting it to be Sarah, but it's not. It's Emma. A surge of emotions hits me, anger, confusion, curiosity, but before I can decide what to do, my thumb swipes across the screen, answering the call. Jason, her voice comes through, soft and hesitant, like she's unsure if I'll hang up on her. I'm sorry about last night. I didn't mean for it to come out like that. I'm not sure what to say, I admit, my voice cold. You and Sarah. How long has this been going on? Emma sighs, and I can hear the regret in her voice. Longer than it should have. But it's not as simple as it seems. Nothing about this is simple, I snap, trying to keep my voice down. You're part of this mess, and now I'm caught in the middle. I didn't know about you at first, she explains. When I found out, I wanted to end things, but Sarah, she insisted it was over between you two. I should have walked away, but I didn't. There's a pause, and I can almost hear her breathing, steadying herself. I didn't mean to hurt you. But Jason, there's something you need to know. Sarah, she's not just cheating on you with me. There's more. More. The word feels like a trigger, setting off alarms in my mind. Yes, Emma says, her voice dropping to a whisper. I'm not the only one. My stomach churns, the coffee in front of me suddenly unappealing. Who else? I demand. I don't know all the details, she admits. But I know she's been seeing someone else. Someone from work. The revelation feels like a knife twisting deeper into the wound, and I grip the edge of the table to steady myself. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to know the truth, she says, and there's a sincerity in her voice that catches me off guard. Whatever happens between you and Sarah, I needed you to know. Before I can respond, the call ends, leaving me staring at the black screen, the weight of her words pressing down on me. My mind races, trying to piece together this new information, the betrayal deepening with every passing second. I have to do something. I can't just let this slide. But first, I need help. I scroll through my contacts until I find the name I'm looking for, Ben, my closest friend since college and the one person I trust completely. He's a lawyer, and while his expertise is in corporate law, he knows enough about messy situations like this to give me advice. The phone rings twice before he picks up. Jason. It's early. What's up? Ben, I need to see you. It's urgent. He hears the tension in my voice and doesn't hesitate. Meet me at my office in an hour. I finish my coffee and leave the shop, my thoughts a storm of emotions. The walk to Ben's office is a blur, and before I know it, I'm sitting in his sleek, modern office, trying to explain the situation. So, Sarah's cheating on you with another woman, Ben says, leaning back in his chair, his expression serious. And this woman, Emma, just told you that Sarah's involved with someone else, too? That's what she said. My voice is thick with disbelief, and I rub my temples, trying to stave off the headache building behind my eyes. I don't know what to do, Ben. I can't just sit around and wait for more lies to surface. Ben nods, his eyes narrowing in thought. First things first, we need to get some proof. If this goes to divorce, and it's looking like it will, you'll need evidence. Without it, you're going to be at a disadvantage. How do I do that? I ask, feeling out of my depth. I don't even know where to start. Ben leans forward, his tone taking on a more practical edge. You could hire a private investigator. It's not the most pleasant route, but it'll get you the answers you need. And once we have that, we can decide on the next steps. The idea of spying on Sarah makes my stomach turn, but the alternative, continuing to live in the dark, is worse. Okay, I agree, my voice firming up. Let's do it. Ben nods, reaching for his phone. I know a guy. Discreet, efficient. I'll give him a call. While he makes the arrangements, I stare out of the window, the city skyline a blur of concrete and glass. This isn't how I imagined my life would turn out, a marriage built on lies, a betrayal that cuts deeper with each revelation. But I refuse to be a victim in my own story. If Sarah wants to play games, I'll make sure I'm the one setting the rules. Ben hangs up the phone and looks at me, his expression grave. He's on it. We should have something concrete in a few days. Thanks, Ben, I say, feeling a small measure of relief. I don't know what I'd do without you. Don't mention it, he replies, his voice softening. Just take care of yourself, okay? This isn't going to be easy. I know, I say, standing up and shaking his hand. But I'm ready for whatever comes next. As I leave his office, the weight on my chest feels a little lighter. There's a long road ahead, filled with uncertainty and pain, but for the first time since last night, I feel a sense of control. I'm not going to let Sarah get away with this. I'm going to find out the truth, and then I'll make my move. Whatever that turns out to be. The rest of the day passes in a haze. I avoid going home, opting instead to bury myself in work, trying to drown out the turmoil in my personal life with the comforting monotony of spreadsheets and meetings. But no matter how hard I try, thoughts of Sarah and Emma, and the mystery third person, keep intruding. By the time I finally drag myself home, it's late, and the apartment is dark. I half expect Sarah to be waiting up for me, ready to offer some sort of explanation or apology, but she's not. The place is eerily quiet, and for a moment, I wonder if she's even here. I find her in the bedroom, asleep, or at least pretending to be, her form curled up under the covers. There's an emptiness between us, a silence that speaks louder than words ever could. I change into something more comfortable and settle into the living room, not wanting to share the same bed with her right now. The couch is stiff and uncomfortable, but it's a welcome discomfort, a reminder that everything isn't okay. As I lie there, staring at the ceiling, my phone buzzes on the coffee table. I reach for it, expecting another late-night work email or maybe a message from Ben. But it's not. It's a text from Emma. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you find the answers you're looking for. I stare at the message, the words blurring together as my eyes burn with exhaustion. There's no anger left in me, just a cold resolve. I don't reply. Instead, I put the phone down and close my eyes, willing sleep to come. Tomorrow is a new day, and with it, the start of something different. Something that will change everything. The morning light filters through the curtains, casting long shadows across the living room where I'm sprawled on the couch, the stiffness in my neck a reminder of the uncomfortable sleep. I've been awake for a while, listening to the quiet hum of the city waking up, my mind a tangled mess of thoughts. Today, I'm not just going through the motions, I'm on a mission. I slip out of the apartment before Sarah wakes up, avoiding another awkward encounter. I can't bear the thought of facing her, not until I know more. I'm determined to uncover the truth, and I need answers before I confront her again. The streets are busier now, the early morning calm giving way to the usual hustle and bustle. I head to a small cafe a few blocks away, one I used to frequent before everything became so complicated. As I step inside, the familiar scent of freshly brewed coffee greets me, offering a small measure of comfort. I order a coffee and sit at a corner table, my eyes scanning the room out of habit. My phone buzzes, and I glance down, expecting an update from Ben. Instead, it's an unfamiliar number. I hesitate, then answer. "Jason, it's Mark," says a deep, steady voice on the other end. "Ben gave me your number. I'm the investigator he mentioned." "Mark, yeah, thanks for reaching out," I say, relieved to have this ball rolling. "Did Ben fill you in?" "He did. I understand you're looking for proof of your wife's extracurricular activities." His voice is professional, no nonsense. "That's right," I confirm, glancing around to make sure no one is listening. "I need to know who she's been seeing and for how long. I need solid evidence." I'll handle it, Mark assures me. I'll start tailing her today, see where she goes, who she meets. You'll have the first report by tomorrow morning. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it, I say, my grip on the phone tightening. Just be discreet. I don't want her to know she's being watched. Of course. I'll be in touch, he says before hanging up. I sit back, exhaling slowly, my mind racing. This is really happening. I'm putting my life under a microscope, but it's the only way forward. I need to know the full extent of Sarah's betrayal before I decide what to do next. The hours drag by as I go through the motions at work, trying to focus on anything other than the growing tension at home. My colleagues don't seem to notice anything different about me, or if they do, they're too polite to say anything. It's a relief, in a way. I'm not ready to talk about this with anyone else. By the time I get home, it's late, and the apartment is dark again. I flip on the light and find Sarah sitting on the couch, her face illuminated by the glow of the TV. She looks up as I walk in, her expression unreadable. "You're home late," she says, her voice carefully neutral. "Work was busy," I reply, shrugging off my coat and hanging it by the door. "How was your day?" She pauses, as if considering how much to tell me. "It was fine. Just, work." There's a tense silence, the weight of unspoken words hanging between us. I can feel her watching me, trying to gauge my mood, but I keep my expression blank, not wanting to give anything away. "I'm going to take a shower," I say, breaking the silence. "We can talk later." "Sure," she replies, though I can hear the uncertainty in her voice. "I'll be here." I head to the bathroom, turning on the water as hot as I can stand it, letting the steam fill the small space. As the water beats down on me, I try to clear my head, but it's impossible. My thoughts keep circling back to Sarah, to Emma, to the mystery person she's been seeing. The pieces are starting to fit together, but the picture they're forming is one I never wanted to see. When I finally step out of the shower, I feel a little more composed. I dress in comfortable clothes and head back to the living room, where Sarah is still sitting, her eyes flicking up to meet mine as I enter. "Jason, can we talk?" she asks, her voice softer now, almost pleading. I hesitate, then nod, sitting down across from her. "Okay. Let's talk." She takes a deep breath, looking down at her hands, which are nervously twisting together. "I know things have been strained between us lately. And I know I haven't been honest with you." "That's an understatement," I say, unable to keep the bitterness out of my voice. She winces, but continues. "I never meant to hurt you, Jason. I was confused, lost. And when I met Emma, she was someone I could talk to, someone who understood what I was going through." "What exactly were you going through, Sarah?" I ask, my voice sharper than I intend. "You had everything. We had everything." "I know," she whispers, tears welling up in her eyes. "But something changed. I started questioning everything, our marriage, my life, who I am. And Emma, she became more than just a friend. She made me feel alive again." "Alive?" I echo, shaking my head in disbelief. "Do you have any idea what this has done to me? To us?" She nods, wiping away a tear. "I know, and I'm so sorry. But there's more, Jason. I need to be honest with you." I brace myself, feeling like I'm about to be hit with another wave of betrayal. "What is it?" She hesitates, her eyes locked on mine, and I can see the fear in them. "I've been seeing someone else too. His name is Alex. He's a colleague." The words hang in the air, heavy and suffocating. I feel like the ground is slipping out from under me, and I have to grip the edge of the couch to steady myself. "A colleague," I repeat, my voice flat. "How long?" "A few months," she admits, her voice barely a whisper. "It wasn't supposed to mean anything. It just happened." I stand up, unable to sit still any longer. The walls of the apartment feel like they're closing in on me, and I need to get out, to breathe. I need some air, I say, heading for the door. Jason, wait, she calls after me, but I'm already out the door, the cool night air hitting me like a slap in the face. I walk aimlessly, my mind a storm of anger, hurt, and confusion. I've been blindsided, betrayed by the person I trusted most, and now I'm left picking up the pieces of a life I thought was solid. I don't know how long I walk, but eventually, I find myself in a small park, the kind of place we used to visit together, back when things were simple. I sit on a bench, staring up at the sky, the stars blurred by the tears I refuse to let fall. My phone buzzes in my pocket, and I pull it out, seeing a message from Mark. "I've got something for you. Can we meet?" I don't hesitate. I need answers, and I need them now. I reply with a quick yes, and he sends me the address of a nearby diner. The place is quiet when I arrive, the kind of 24-hour joint where the coffee is strong and the staff don't ask questions. Mark is already there, sitting in a booth at the back, his face partially hidden by the shadow of his hat. "Jason," he greets me as I slide into the seat across from him. "I've got some information." "What did you find?" I ask, my voice tense. He pulls out a small manila envelope and slides it across the table. Photos, texts, and a detailed report. "Your wife is definitely involved with this Alex guy. They've been meeting up regularly, and it's not just casual. It's been going on for a while." I open the envelope, pulling out the photos and flipping through them. My stomach churns as I see Sarah with another man, their interactions too familiar, too intimate. There's no denying it now. She's been lying to me, living a double life. "There's more," Mark says, his tone serious. "This guy, Alex, he's not just some random colleague. He's connected to a bigger network, something that could be dangerous." "What do you mean, dangerous?" I ask, my eyes narrowing. "Alex is involved in some shady business deals. Nothing concrete yet, but enough to raise red flags. You need to be careful, Jason. This could get messy." I sit back, the weight of the information pressing down on me. My world is unraveling faster than I can keep up with, and now I'm faced with a decision: do I confront Sarah and risk everything coming to a head, or do I dig deeper, find out just how far this betrayal goes? "Thanks, Mark," I say, my voice hollow. "I'll take it from here." "Be careful," he warns, standing up and leaving a few bills on the table. "And if you need anything, you know how to reach me." I nod, watching him leave, the envelope still clutched in my hand. The diner is quiet around me, the low hum of conversation and the clink of dishes the only sounds. I know what I have to do next. I'm not just going to confront Sarah, I'm going to take control of this situation. I'm going to make sure she knows exactly what she's done, and I'm going to make her pay for every lie, every betrayal. As I leave the diner and step back into the night, a cold resolve settles over me. This isn't just about getting even anymore. It's about reclaiming my life, on my terms. And I won't stop until I've torn down the web of lies Sarah has spun around us. The next morning, the sun rises too quickly, casting a harsh light on the events of the previous night. I barely slept, my mind a battlefield of emotions, anger, betrayal, and a cold resolve that stiffens my spine as I prepare for the day ahead. Today, it ends. Today, I take control. I've decided to confront Sarah, to lay everything out and watch her reaction. I want to see if there's any remorse left in her, any shred of the woman I once loved. The envelope Mark gave me sits on the table, the damning evidence inside waiting to be unleashed. I hear Sarah moving around the apartment, the sound of her footsteps sending a surge of adrenaline through me. This is it. I take a deep breath, steadying myself, and walk into the living room where she's sitting with a cup of coffee, staring out the window. "Sarah, we need to talk," I say, my voice colder than I intended. She turns to face me, her eyes widening slightly at my tone. Jason, what's going on? I know everything, I say, tossing the envelope onto the coffee table between us. Open it. She hesitates, her eyes flicking from me to the envelope. Slowly, she reaches out and picks it up, pulling out the contents. Her face pales as she flips through the photos, her hands trembling slightly. Where did you get these? She asks, her voice barely above a whisper. Does it matter? I snap, the anger I've been holding back spilling over. I know about you and Alex. I know about the lies, the betrayal. How could you do this to me? To us? She looks up at me, her eyes glistening with tears. Jason, it's not what you think. Don't lie to me. I shout, cutting her off. I have all the proof I need. I just want to know why. Why did you do it? Was I not enough for you? Tears spill down her cheeks, but I don't feel any sympathy. I'm too consumed by the betrayal, the bitterness that has taken root in my heart. I was lost, she says, her voice cracking. I didn't know who I was anymore, and I thought I could find myself with them. But it was a mistake, Jason. I realize that now. A mistake. I echo, laughing bitterly. You've been lying to me for months. This isn't just a mistake, Sarah. This is who you are. She shakes her head, reaching out as if to touch me, but I step back, avoiding her hand. I never wanted to hurt you, she pleads. I still love you, Jason. We can work through this. No, I say firmly, my voice like steel. There's no coming back from this. We're done, Sarah. I can't be with someone who betrayed me like this. The finality of my words hangs in the air, and I can see the realization dawning in her eyes. She knows it's over. I turn to leave, but she grabs my arm, desperation in her grip. Please, Jason, don't go. We can fix this. I'll end it with Alex, I'll do whatever it takes. It's too late, I say, pulling my arm free. You made your choice, Sarah. Now you have to live with it. I head for the door, but as I reach for the handle, there's a knock. I freeze, my hand hovering over the knob, and Sarah looks at me with confusion. Are you expecting someone? She asks, her voice trembling. I shake my head, opening the door cautiously. To my shock, Emma is standing there, her face pale, eyes wide with something I can't quite place, fear, maybe, or regret. She looks past me at Sarah, and the tension in the room skyrockets. Emma, Sarah breathes, her voice thick with emotion. What are you doing here? I needed to talk to you, Emma says, her voice tight. Both of you. I step aside, letting her in, my mind racing. This wasn't part of the plan, but maybe it's better this way. Maybe it's time to confront everything head-on, no more secrets, no more lies. Emma walks into the living room, her posture rigid, her eyes flicking nervously between me and Sarah. Jason, she begins, but I cut her off. Save it, I say, crossing my arms. We all know what's going on here. The only thing left is to get everything out in the open. She nods, swallowing hard. You're right. There's something you both need to know. The room falls silent, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Emma takes a deep breath, steeling herself. Sarah, she's been seeing someone else. But it's not just anyone. It's someone connected to something dangerous. What are you talking about? I ask, my anger flaring again. What could be worse than what she's already done? Emma looks at me, her eyes pleading for understanding. Alex isn't just her colleague. He's involved in illegal activities, fraud, money laundering, things that could get her in serious trouble. My blood runs cold as I process her words. This isn't just about infidelity anymore. This is something much bigger, something that could ruin not just our marriage, but our lives. Sarah's face drains of color, and she stumbles back, collapsing onto the couch. No, no, that's not true. Alex wouldn't, he couldn't. It's true, Sarah, Emma says, her voice firm. I found out, and I've been trying to figure out how to tell you. But now it's too late. Sarah looks up at me, her eyes filled with panic. Jason, I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know. I don't respond, the reality of the situation crashing down on me like a wave. This isn't just about broken trust anymore. This is about survival. What do we do now? Sarah asks, her voice small, almost childlike. We end this, I say, my voice resolute. We cut ties with Alex, with all of it. I'll talk to Ben, get legal protection in place. We can't afford to be connected to this. But what about us? Sarah asks, her eyes pleading. I look at her, the woman I once loved, now a stranger to me. The woman who has lied, cheated, and dragged us both into something dangerous. I shake my head, the decision clear in my mind. There is no us anymore, Sarah. You made sure of that. She breaks down, sobbing into her hands, and Emma reaches out to comfort her, but I step in, my voice hard. No. This is on her. Let her deal with it. Emma steps back, her eyes filled with regret. I'm sorry, Jason. I never wanted any of this to happen. I know, I say, though the words feel hollow. But it did. And now we have to face the consequences. I turn and walk to the door, opening it without another word. I don't look back as I step outside, the cool air hitting me like a slap to the face. This chapter of my life is over. There's no going back. As I walk away from the apartment, I feel the weight of everything lift off my shoulders. The anger, the betrayal, the pain, it all fades into the background. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know one thing, I'm not looking back. For the first time in a long time, I feel free. Free from the lies, the deceit, the toxic relationships that have consumed my life. And as I walk into the dawn of a new day, I know that I'll never let myself be trapped in the shadows again.